like they say, home is where the heart is. But when you start traveling and seeing the world, you know how beautiful it is, because you start appreciating how different and beautiful other places are. Before coming to the residency, I had the intention of exploring myself more from an introspective way, spiritually, and tightening up my screws and the connection I have with my spirit. I also wanted to tighten the screw of rest as well, which was a big intention, and also to play and to feel like a child again and bring in a new perspective that doesn't know anything. And I wanted to start from the ground up, because the environment gave me a very protective feeling of where I wanted to be. And it allowed me to have different objectives even when I didn't have them before coming here. So the objective of protection only arose from when I got to the south of France, and it allowed me to feel protected by not only the physical space, but the natural space as well, which allowed me to be the subject in a still environment. The objective of rest for me is one of my main themes of exploring my practice, and rest is one of the most important in this part of my journey, because it's what I wanted to explore the most. I wanted to find rest outside of the pressure of being an artist, outside of the pressure of producing, and outside of the pressure of just being a human being. And when I take it back, rest is an underlying issue in many of Africans and the African psychology in how we want to perceive ourselves. In pre-colonization, we found ourselves in an abundance of rest because we lived a life that was so calm, so spacious, and even if there was work to be done, it wasn't done as an objective to move forward or to succeed or to gain anything outside of survival. And I understand in the world that we're living in, rest is obviously perceived differently, but I wanted to also perceive it in my way, in the ways that I'd want to do so, because success and work and being an entrepreneur and a creative requires you to always kind of be on the move and getting things done. And I think for me, to be able to produce work or to be able to be a successful anything, you need to do it from a place of calmness and also rationality and understanding what you're doing. The amount of rest I had before coming here was from the year that I had, which was quite hectic, and it was quite high pressure, because everything had to happen in a very quick way and fast paced, and I wanted to kind of slow that down with the intention of coming to the residency, knowing where I would be situated. And I think the first thing that allowed me to do so was the view of the ocean. And for me, seeing that naturally you don't want to do anything when you're in front of the ocean, and the ocean doesn't want you to do anything. So you kind of met with, are you going to allow the space to carry you, or are you going to carry the space with it? And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a subject. I didn't want to be an object in a place that is temporary in where I'm living. And when I got here, France is very still. The people here are quite still, and the energy here is quite calm. So I wanted to embody that for myself, and that's where the rest came from. So waking up in the morning for me would mean looking at the view, literally just staring at it and doing absolutely nothing about it. And I would sit there and I'd come downstairs, play music, because that's the first thing I wake up to. I wake up to some jazz music in the morning, and then I'll make some tea, and that will be my day. And I will start my day with music, and I'll start my day with the view, and I'll start my day with a book if I feel like reading in the mornings. But most of it would start just with me being present in the morning and seeing, okay, I've made it to the next day. I'm here, let's do it. The series that I decided to explore before coming here was called I Was Born Wrapped in a White Blanket. And that series is about protection. It's about how I feel being cocooned in a space. It is also about exploring the connection between that, because the meaning of that then means that in going back home, going back into South Africa, the meaning of being born in a white blanket means that you're gifted spiritually, or you're just a gifted child and you were born lucky. And that's a symbol of the protection that you have from God, ancestors, and your parents. And it also allowed me to experience it and explore it for myself in my journey. And I wanted to feel protected, which I got to do that coming here, and offered me that kind of solace and peace. So where peace is concerned, I was forced to do so. I was kind of forced to come into the space and do exactly that. And I needed to honor what being wrapped in a white blanket meant for me, and I wanted to carry that going forward, and that kind of highlights itself in my work. The colors are a bit more intentional. There's a sense of community in the forms. There's abstraction, there's geometry, there's realism, and there's a play on different expressionist type of ways of working in what I was exploring, and that's the freedom I wanted to explore. Language has become very important in my life because language changes all the time, and we understand each other differently as people. And before coming here, the first thing my brother said to me when dropping me off at the airport was, open your eyes and open your ears. And I remembered that every day being here, because number one, I don't understand French, and number two, I don't know where I am pretty much. So that was a very big part of learning language for me, because it goes beyond what you say. It's reading someone's body language. It's reading someone's verbal language, but from an energy that you can identify. And for me, that was very important to start reading people's energies and their intentions when communicating with me, even if we didn't understand each other. Yes, my eye has changed, because I always say that the reason why I paint the eye is because your eye grows the more you grow, the more you see. Your eye becomes a completely different version of you, and it's the same thing. It's always there if you have sight. But also it includes people that don't see as well. It includes them in the sense that they see in vibration, they see in feeling, and they see in touch. So sight isn't necessarily about what you see in plain sight with sun rays in front of your eyes to make a picture. It's a completely different manifestation of that. And in my work, I grow. My eye has grown, and the way I see things has grown as well. So I think in this new series as well, there's a touch on that. There's a touch in how my eye has grown and how I see things. And there's a touch of realism, there's a touch of playfulness, and there's a touch of the traditional way of painting in terms of impressionism and expressionism from the masters that I've seen in the museums. So that has almost influenced how I work and made it better to see better. It's almost like a camera focusing every chance it gets